Welcome back to another episode of Calm Before the Storm. I'm Kim.
I'm Steph.
And I'm Kimberly.
Happy New Year. We
Happy
missed
New
Happy
Year.
you.
New Year. Ooh, we
We
are
missed
back, ladies.
everyone.
It's been a
Um,
while. I
I
miss you
know.
guys.
How was everyone's
That
holiday?
was good.
It was good. It was good. It
Hmm.
was relaxing. It was calming. Everything I needed.
Yes, same.
Yes.
Hmm.
So last episode we talked about vision boards and we talked about the fear going into the new year. And I expressed that every New Year's Eve before the ball drops, I tear up and
Mm.
cry a little bit. But I would say this year I didn't.
Oh,
Ooh, it's gonna
all
be a good
right. You
year.
go,
It
girl.
was so much happening that I just was like, before I know it, we are already at 3, 2, 1.
You're like,
Right.
I didn't have time to cry.
I'm on the phone with Steph and our family. I'm trying to get everybody downstairs. It was crazy, but maybe this year would be actually really good because I didn't shed no tears.
It'll be a
Yes.
great
It's gonna
year.
be wonderful.
It
Yes.
is.
So
Yeah, it was fun.
this week's topic, we're going to be talking about dating with kids with the new year
Mm.
here and new seasons for people with dating. And dating is a topic all in itself. We
Mhm.
never hear about the struggle of dating with kids, right? And blending families. So I don't have kids. You ladies have kids. How is that for you, like with, dating someone new?
Go ahead, Steph.
I'll let you go first. All right. You said it first, so I go first. Um, it was not easy at first. I put more fear into myself, thinking about what others say. You hear people say, oh, if they got kids, they don't want to date, blah, blah, blah. But once I kind of jumped into it, it was like no one really cares. There's a few that do, but I didn't have that experience when I was dating. Um, at first it was hard. I think the hardest part for me was how do I intertwine dating and my children? Like
Hmm.
when is a good time to say let's meet, or when is a good time to let them know I am dating? Because that was the hardest part. For a long time, I just made it seem like it's just mom. We're not, she don't date, she don't do any, she's all alone.
Hmm.
But I think the transition was good once it was more me than anything else.
Um, I'll say the same. It was more me than anything else. The kids only knew that I was like out on Fridays, and it was like, okay. So my oldest, it was like maybe 2.5, 3 months in, and she was just like, "Where do you go every Friday? Like, what are you doing?" And so she's like, we're not going to go too much longer before we meet him because we want to make sure we like him. So that's the 18-year-old speaking. Um, but Steph knows because I would call her. I think I called her the day that my oldest scheduled the dinner because she just like
Mhm.
did the dinner date on her own. And I was freaking out so bad. And I was just like, because we all have different parenting styles. He has 3 children of his own. Um, so I was really more like, what if I don't parent my kids like he does? Or what if my kids are too much and overwhelming for him? His kids are older. I have younger kids. What if they annoy him? And then the end all be all was, what if they really don't like him? What happens
Hmm.
Right.
next? So that was the biggest fear in it all. But fingers crossed, so far, so good.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good. So, do you tell them right away that you have kids?
I did.
I did. I feel like if you don't, you're keeping us like that is a
Right,
major
right.
Mm-hmm.
secret.
I
That
would
Mm-hmm.
too.
actually
Like,
happened to me before.
really?
No. Oh
You know who you
no.
are if you're listening now.
Wait, do I know who they are?
Yes, my baby daddy.
Oh, wow. That was a lot happening.
No. Right, right.
Um, yes.
Let's take a sip of our
Um,
drink.
he said he had kids. He just didn't specify the amount of
Mm,
children. He
mm.
didn't, he gave you a number, but that number was incorrect.
Right, we
So
didn't
then
add on.
later on, they just started, falling out the tree somehow. It was a little late by then.
Okay.
No, I
But I
agree. I
think,
feel like you should let them know right away. Because
Yeah.
some men might be like, I don't want kids, so they might.
Hmm.
Well, when it was done to me, I was like, whoa, whoa, we went from like 2 to 7. What happened here? I'm exaggerating with the 7, but yeah.
It's good. It's
It
good.
it climbed
Hmm.
significantly. Even if you have just one in it, like just say
Being
it.
honest,
Because if
yeah.
you're
Right.
not ready to be a parent or like if you're just trying to have fun, then state that.
Right.
Don't make it
Right.
seem because us with children, sometimes we just want to have fun too. But if you're looking for that stable relationship,
Hmm.
we got to be open and honest from the beginning.
Right.
Yes.
So how many, well, because we know how many kids, that person had. How many kids is too many kids?
Well, you say the Jewish stuff. So now I think because I already have 3 kids of my own, I hate to make it sound selfish to put like a number on it,
Hmm.
but too much for me personally. Anything after 3 is like
No,
that's
I agree. And
way, way more than the Brady Bunch.
it depends like what age they are. Like if you got
Yes.
like three under two, like we got a
Ooh,
problem.
no. You're
First of
like a
Different baby
all,
serial kid
mothers.
maker.
if we 3 under 2, y'all still talking to each other? Y'all
Or
messing
you
What's
with
got
each
going
more
on?
than you
other?
got different baby
What's
mothers. Like what is
happening?
happening?
Yeah, the
No.
multiple
Yeah.
baby mama thing is a little uncomfortable. That's where my baby daddy comes in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, but yeah, I don't know that I could do multiple baby mothers, but I
Hmm.
can do more than 3 kids.
Okay.
Multiple baby mamas is a red flag.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, that is like the largest flag you can like it's in your face.
Hmm.
Yes.
Listen to
I know. Pay attention.
Yes. So how long do you wait to introduce the kids to your new guy?
Oh.
I waited. See, my story is a little different. We moved pretty quickly, I would say, for what most people would do.
Mm.
We were living together probably 9 months. We weren't even a year, and we already moved in together as a family. I think he met them after a month, I want to say, if I recall correctly. And I just felt like it was right. Like our connection was different than I've ever felt.
Hmm.
But dating prior to that, nobody met my kids.
Yep.
He's the only person that, besides their father, that they've ever actually seen me date.
Hmm.
So they know nothing else.
Okay.
Same. If it were up to me, I would have waited 6 months to a year, only
Hmm.
because of the same thing like you. The kids only knew their dad. They never were introduced to anyone I was dating, anyone I was talking to, a perspective, anything. Um, and my thought process was, maybe like 6 months to a year. But then my oldest was kind of like, what if you take all that time and we just don't like him?
Hmm.
Then what? So I'm
True.
like, all right. So it was 3 months in where they when they met him.
Do you give them like, oh, this is my friend, or this is, like a little nickname, so it's not like this is
I
This
didn't
is
Uncle
call
me.
him.
this is Uncle so and so, like we
I
ain't
didn't
Oh
say
never
my
Uncle
God.
Sam. No, there was no Uncle Sam. He wasn't a long lost cousin, and he definitely wasn't my best friend from high school. He
Mhm.
was who he was, and we're just dating. This is someone mom is dating, mom goes out with. We're getting to know each other. That was my introduction.
Mine
Okay.
was kind of the same. We did like a dinner date, and mine were
Hmm.
young when this took place. I want to say they were like 8, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly. Um, so their mentality was a little different. They understood, but not really.
Hmm.
So, they were like, okay, whatever. We going to get a meal. Let's go.
Right.
Right.
We're in there.
'Cause they love to eat.
So how important is it to separate date nights when you introduce the kids? Like, is it easier now? Like, oh, okay, they know you're dating, so oh, I'm going out with so and so, you know, rather than I'm gonna go out with my girls.
Yes. Everyone
Yes.
knows family and friends. Friday nights, we don't do anything because Kimberly is doing what she's got to do. And I think it's important, right? Like once you do come together,
Mm-hmm.
you always keep a date night for yourselves, right? Because you always need that personal time, but always make sure that the kids, you get some time with the kids just to keep up that momentum, with their type of bonding and relationship, in my opinion.
So do you like do a date night with you and your significant other and then you with your significant other and the kids? Or is
Yes.
that overstepping?
I do both.
Okay.
Hmm.
Right. I mean, we all live together at this point, but in the
Right.
beginning, we would do um, a date night and then we would incorporate something with the
Hmm.
kids all the time,
Hmm.
like take them to the movie, like,
Right.
cute little things for them
Yeah.
to do that they wanted to do, but they will incorporate it.
Okay. How much influence is the other parent allowed into this new space?
That's a good one. It's
Not
hard
much.
to do that. Yeah. It's hard to let
It
that
is.
go, to allow someone else to parent. In the
Hmm.
beginning, we didn't have like I feel like he kind of rode his little wave and stayed there, let me kind of lead what he
Hmm.
was able to do and not do. Um, but now he's like their dad. He make more sometimes the decisions and I have no input in it whatsoever. But
So what about
that's
the,
later
well,
on.
I think with you both, it's kind of like a different situation, but like if the other
Hmm.
parent, right, was
Hmm.
more involved, then it would be like, how much can he say about this new person being around their kids?
We would have to have a conversation, but I mean, it's like you said, like me and Steph have a totally different kind of like outcome in that sense. But if the kid's father was more involved in their life and
Mhm.
active, um, I would give him the respect of having a conversation. Hey, this person I'm dating, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to know more than that, but the kids will be around him, evidently. The kids are
Right,
going to be around
that's what I was
him.
thinking, yeah.
And yeah, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't make it comfortable for him to have so much of a say. He wouldn't have that much to control in my life any longer. I just gave you
Mm.
the respect to know there is somebody, they're going to be around them. So, that's that.
Right, I feel
I
like it
think
depends on the situation.
Yeah.
yes, I think if you are dealing with someone who is mature
Right.
enough
Mhm.
to handle this type of this scenario we have going on,
Mhm.
this blended family, then they would be a little bit more understanding. Maybe they would want to meet them. And I get that. I would want to meet whoever you
Whoever.
have
Yeah.
Correct.
around my daughters, but I don't have that type of relationship with their father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, does he like what's happening? I don't know. We don't really have
Mhm.
conversation. I'm pretty sure it's a no from comments that I have heard,
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, it's if I'm the only one who's doing playing the major role, then I get all the say, right? If you're not putting
Mhm.
in your part in that aspect, then why do you get to make a decision in this aspect?
Right, because what if they
Not
say don't,
everyone will agree with that.
No.
what if
No.
they
And that's
say if
okay.
they don't want them around their kids?
Give me some good reasons why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she said, I would need a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never been around them, if you're just saying it out of, because sometimes they just say it out of spite, they're angry,
Mm-hmm.
they're hurt,
Mhm.
they just don't want to see you move on, then I ain't got time to hear you at all.
Mm-hmm.
If there's
Mhm.
something wrong, if they're doing something wrong to my child, like yes, by all means. But you wouldn't even know that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
if it's like like you said, like a, excuse me, like a mature, like you guys realize, all right, this is not going to work out.
Mhm.
We just want what's best for the kids.
Mhm.
If they was to come in with a new girl, you
Mhm.
want to meet whoever's around your daughters or your kids, and then vice versa. But if it's in a situation where it's just like, what have you done for them? And it's like, I
Right.
need you to fall back.
Yeah.
I take zero input, none whatsoever.
Hmm.
That's where I stand with my
Mhm.
kids' lives. I mean, there's a whole story behind that that I won't get into,
Hmm.
Right.
but and a lot of people who may watch this may not agree with that because they'll be like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't keep your kids," but
Right.
that's not the
Mhm.
situation. It's a choice.
Right,
Exactly.
they make.
unless the kids are going to their dad and saying, "Oh, so and so did this," I think you good.
And our
Yeah.
kids are old enough to talk to us. My daughters are 16 years old. They have a problem. They don't have a problem saying they have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God, we've never had an issue. Um, but I think they're old enough to state how they feel. Let me know when they don't like something, if they
Mm-hmm.
feel like something's wrong. I think we passed that. They don't look at him different. They look to him. He belongs here, like he's
Right,
their
they're used
father
Yeah.
to
figure at
him.
this
Yeah.
point.
So
It's
what if the kids did say they didn't get along with the person you're dating?
I'm I'm gonna have to have a conversation. We
Yeah,
definitely are gonna
big.
have to have a conversation. They do have their reasons, right? More because they built this like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, thing with this person. So I would probably have an alone conversation first, right? Just to see like where their head is. And then if it's
Mm-hmm.
something that's just like, oh, I don't like the way they make a face when they do this, or if it's something that comes up for past traumas with their dealings with their dad, it's something we could all sit and have a conversation about. But I think I would converse with them first,
Mm-hmm.
dot all my I's and cross all my T's, and then kind of incorporate the person into the conversation as well.
Yes,
Okay.
I think it's good to have that relationship still with your kids. Have it open where they feel like, even though this is
Hmm.
mom's new boyfriend or husband or whatever, she's still gonna hear me out.
Hmm.
She's not gonna not listen to what I'm saying because this is who she wants to be with. So
A
you
hundred
have to
percent.
let them know, like if something, you have to tell me. You can't keep it to yourself. And like she said, it's got to be valid because kids would be upset over the silliest things. Like,
That's
oh
what I'm
my God,
thinking.
he
Absolutely.
didn't take me to McDonald's today. No,
I
we're
be
not. We're
thinking,
not breaking up for that.
I be
Yes,
thinking of
we're
those
not.
Lifetime movies where the kid be like, "I'm gonna create this whole thing,"
Yes,
and then it'll
Yes,
that's
really be a whole
exactly
lie.
it.
it'd
A
be
whole
nothing. They just
lie.
they don't want
No.
you with. They want you with their daddy still, and you're
Mm,
like, no, that's just not gonna work
Yes,
anymore.
it's not happening. Thank God I
mm.
didn't have to go through that. Thank God. But one thing I want to point out though, just because I'm in this type of relationship. So I'm a single mom. He met me a single mom. He is a single dad, right? He went through a divorce too.
Mhm.
I will say though, it seems like the standards are different from a single mom household to a single dad household where the mom is still the primary custodian, if that makes sense.
Correct. Uh-huh.
So we're the moms, right?
Mhm.
But he is the dad. So I feel like there's still a struggle with the blending of the family. So he's very well acquainted with my kids, but we are not very well acquainted with his. And I think it's partially because of like, that side just having their judgments or having their feelings and having their way. And I think too, the way they separated and divorced and whatever the case is, it's kind of putting a like hold on where he is with my kids and where I, in my mind, should be with his.
Mhm.
So it's
Right.
almost like a double standard in a sense, but
Yeah.
he's not as I'm not as close to his kids as he is to mine. And I kind of feel like it may not make a difference right now, but if it doesn't change, it could potentially pose an issue because,
Right.
we're just not getting that equal time with the children.
Mhm.
So that's
I
one of
mean,
the
like you
struggles
said,
I've
it's the
seen.
mom
Mhm.
and their situation is different, right? Like we're the
Mhm.
moms in our situation, we have full custody.
Right.
Um, well, we are the custodial parents. Ours are just non-existent at the moment, right?
Yes.
So they don't even know our everyday to day
Mm-mm.
life. They don't know
Mhm.
what our day to day dealings are. They don't even know if you're introducing them to someone,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
But then all of a
Mhm.
sudden they find out that things are happening and maybe they're interested. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
that is easy to cut off because it's like, well, you weren't worried about them 2 weeks ago. Don't worry about them now.
Correct.
I'm doing something
Right.
different. So that's how that works. But since she is the mom, it's
Mhm.
it's it's a hard spot because you don't know what's going on in her mind, or is
Right.
she just being like, you know what? No, I'm not letting you get close to my kids, and that's okay. Like people, women do that. Do I agree with it? No, not necessarily. But for
Mhm.
whatever reasons in her mind that she has, it could be
Mhm.
fears. that, oh, maybe they're going to get closer to you and not to me.
Hmm.
These are all valid fears, but
Hmm.
Right.
it's not a good thing. And they have to kind of
Mm-mm.
figure out their way,
Yes.
especially since it's still new, you
Yes.
know.
That's been the biggest struggle with blending. Like dating with kids, that's been the biggest struggle.
Yeah. See, I
Hmm.
didn't really my husband had to learn how to blend with us, and
Mm.
I didn't have to do that because he has a cat.
I was gonna
I
say
didn't
just with
have to
his
deal
cat
with
and
a
dog.
cat.
You just needed to blend with the cat and the
The
dog.
cat was rough, let me tell you guys. So, I think she was worse than the kids, but I
So,
don't have that whole.
Hmm.
I would say in the beginning, there was some like small gripes. Now that I'm talking about it, and I can remember over silly things. Like I felt like they would question when he was still involved and would pick them up. He would question them a
Mm.
lot
mhm.
and ask personal questions, even down to like what my house inside my house looks like. That's none of your business. It's not necessary. Like, what do you need to know what color the wall is? What's that gonna do for you?
Right.
I mean, yes, I'm taking a little forward what color the wall is, but you have an idea. Like, all those questions are invalid. Like, spend time with your children.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And if you want to know where they're staying, I agree. You should be able to know those things, but also depends on what the situation is.
Correct.
Because these things go left so fast
Hmm.
Yeah.
for no reason. And it depends on why you guys aren't together. What happened? Like, did it end in a good place? And clearly mine did not. So
Hmm.
Okay.
it didn't.
So when is it okay for the person you're dating to be allowed to have input with the kids and step in?
I don't think there's a
Mm.
timeline. I think it goes based on how everybody is mingling with each other. Like,
Hmm.
and how comfortable you as the parent feel allowing them, because that's usually the problem is like you have to open that door for them and let them feel comfortable to step in,
Yeah.
Hmm.
because they don't even feel comfortable to step in. They want to wait, let you lead. Most people want to let you
Hmm.
lead the way, but I don't think it's a specific time. I think it goes based on how everybody's dealing with each other and what stage we are in our relationship.
Right, like if they say, oh, my mom said I can go over here, so and so, but you didn't tell them. So it's like, no, you cannot go. And it's like, who are you? Like, when do they, is there like a certain amount of time or like a months or years that they can like, I want to say discipline, but like have a say so of saying no.
I'm at the place, we've been together 8 years, right? 8 years. Next month. And he can tell them yes, no, maybe so, and I won't interject. That's
Hmm.
between y'all. Yeah, I had a conversation. You asked him. You
Hmm.
didn't ask me. So if he told you no, then I got to stick with the no. Um, if it's something crazy and they want to say, and I won't say anything in front of them because also feel like you have to have a united front where
Hmm.
like you see like I'm not going to disagree with him telling you no in front of you because then they're going to be like, oh, I could jump on that all the time.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
pull them to the side and be like, well, actually, maybe I'll give reasonings as to why I don't think it should be no. And then we'll go
Hmm.
back and be like, actually, you could go now, but I didn't
Hmm.
do that because I don't want to take away what's the word I'm looking for? Your authority in front of
Hmm.
you, because kids play on that too. Like,
They
Hmm.
well, mom
do.
always says, nah, forget it. Nah, forget it. Don't listen
Hmm.
to him. So I'm just not going to listen. So I
Hmm.
don't
Right.
do that. I'll pull him to the side if I feel like his reasoning is just like too much or too little, which is very rare.
Hmm.
If anyone is difficult, it is me.
Right. Right.
They go to him for the yeses because mine is always a no.
Mm. Yeah, same here. The kids go to him for everything. I think it's never really been an instance where he had to like discipline them,
Right.
but uh not Nyla first. Nyla just went to him for guidance on something. So like she was comfortable enough to make it a bond thing where, he
Mm.
can like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do it this way. And then Journey, that's just his ace. Like them two are like partners in crime. So he does have moments with her where like like you said, I'm the crazy one. He's the calmer. Like,
Hmm.
she'll get up and throw a tantrum because she can't do something different. And he'll just like, hey, come on, let's talk, let's sit and like grab all her toys. And they were having tea this morning because Journey didn't want to sleep by herself on the bottom bunk. So
Aw.
it was like, come, let's just sit down. Oh, look, everybody showed up because they want to snuggle with you. And so he's got a calmer approach, but they've incorporated it. It's not like I said, oh, you're allowed to whatever, or he came and asked, like, can I? They kind of just made it that safe
Yeah.
space for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, I think we're not as calm because
You're
we're
playing
mom
mom and
and we
dad.
Yes.
right, we've been mom and dad and we
Mm-hmm.
also don't want the kids to overstep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
like let me get you in check too.
Hmm.
And they're like la la la, they're fine. Don't
Yeah,
worry about
yeah. It's
it.
okay. It's all right.
Why
Don't
you
worry.
getting
I got
so
kids.
crazy? Calm down.
But what about
Right.
those people that are dating someone that are younger and they might feel like, oh, I could spank them.
Mm.
So I don't agree with the hitting.
That's a hard no.
Um, that we are not gonna hit
Mm-mm.
anyone.
No.
No, that's not happening.
That's a hard no.
And he would never. He wouldn't even.
Yeah.
He would come to me first. We've
Mm-hmm.
had situations where I'm like, you should have just. He's like,
Right.
are you crazy?
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
And I don't mean it, but in that moment, I'm so frustrated. Like, you should have
Yep.
just knocked upside of head. But like,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, what's wrong with you? No, I'm gonna talk
Hmm.
about.
I know when my phone rings because there's been times that he stepped in because I've had to go into office and whatever. So he'll like step in to help with the kids in school. When I get the call of like, I think you need to call grandpa downstairs today, I'm like, all right, I understand what time it
Aw.
is. So it's not like he would even attempt it. But everybody knows like if I barely even touch my kids, you definitely are not touching my kids.
Right.
But yeah, grandpa will get the chancla and grandpa will handle all this madness. So he's like, I think we need grandpa to come downstairs today. All right, no problem. I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our
Yeah.
little signal.
Yeah. No hitting. No
Mm-mm.
hitting. I don't
No.
hit my kids
Right. Same.
weird.
No, but there
Like
are
if
people that their kids are young
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they like spank them a little and so they're dating this person for years and then
Yes.
you see them spanking you're like, is that your child?
Right.
right. Some
Even
people
that
are okay with that. And that's
they
that's on your home dynamic
yeah.
if that works for
Yeah.
you. Um, I don't hit them
So
like
you're
that.
not
Mm-hmm.
So
gonna
I
hit them
don't I
either.
don't want
Same.
you to hit them either. Like yeah, don't get me wrong. Have I hit them? Yeah, every once
Of
in a while, you
course.
never know. They
Yeah.
may need a little something, but
Chancla.
nothing. And we're not beating our children, okay? Let's
Oh
just
my
make
God.
that aware. All
Let's
right.
make
A
that
little tap
clear.
tap. We're not punching nobody out like that.
All the Hispanics
Okay.
out there know about the
Yeah.
chancla.
Yeah. All you got to do is show it and they kind of get it
This
together.
they
But
get it together. No, but I did have a friend at work who, long story short, pretty much her cousin married. Her cousin's ex-girlfriend remarried or just got into another relationship. The guy was about her age. I want to say they were like in their 20s, late 20s. Um, the girl allowed the new boyfriend so comfortable in the space of the children that he was comfortable with, he was babysitting them and the kids were acting out. She was out working or doing whatever she was doing, and he got comfortable with spanking them. And I think it was in October, November that it made the headlines. Like he killed her 2 year old. Like he
oh my
beat him.
God.
Yeah, he like beat him
Oh
to
my
death pretty
God.
much. So that's also one of my reasons why, because we've all seen that played out, right? This is not the
Mm-hmm.
first time. I will never give anyone, barely my family has the right to hit my kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one has the right to hit my children. So that's like something I stand on because of that. Because once you give them that comfort, you just
They
never
just
know
run
how
with
they're
it.
gonna
Right.
whoop your
And
child.
they're
So
gonna
I'm
go a
like,
little extra hard when you're
yes,
not around.
just a
I
no,
also
hard
feel
no.
like I don't hit my kids a lot of time because if I'm that angry that I want to hit
Yes.
you, I may not know my own strength and I'm so
Right.
angry. I don't want to like lose it on you and take
Yes.
out all my frustration on you. So I'd rather just walk away than beat their ass because I'm going to hurt
Yeah.
you because I'm
Mm-hmm.
so angry. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't want the other person to do that either because they
Mm-hmm.
don't know their own strength. They don't know when to stop. You don't know that. Like, no, keep your hands to yourself. Everybody,
Yeah,
let's
no,
just
thank
talk.
you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Communication.
Yeah.
All right. Dating on its own is not easy, but when kids are involved, it can get a little bit more difficult with some situations. What are some tips we can offer from our own individual experiences? Well, you do.
Listen to your children when they
Hmm.
talk to you with an open ear.
Hmm.
Let them know that they are still being heard, that they're still valid, that doesn't mean that, okay, now, he's the end
Hmm.
all be all and we're just here.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
Make sure you take time out with your kids and not just focus on your new dating
Hmm.
or whatever. Well, you got to pay attention to them a lot more when you start dating because I
Hmm.
feel
Yeah.
like sometimes that hurts them. They may feel like, oh, I never wanted you to leave my dad, and now you're dating somebody else. And it
Hmm.
becomes a lot of things that you wouldn't even think happen. And they don't share that right away. You kind of got to dig and
Yeah.
dig and dig and dig until they finally let it out that this is why they act like this. So I think always communicate with them, always check in. Yes, there's a line. You can't tell me what to do and not do, but I will hear
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
Right. Same. Communicate, keep that open door policy. Always make sure that you give your time to your person, but also the kids need the time as well. But the major thing is communication. I think
Hmm.
communication is huge. You have to keep that communication with everybody.
I
Okay.
will agree.
All right. Well, Steph, you want to give us our quote?
I sure do. So our quote for this week is being a single parent is not a life full of struggles, but a journey for the strong by Meg Lowry. You go, Meg. You ain't lying.
Hi, Meg.
It is a journey for the strong. I will say that. It is
Yeah.
difficult. And even when you are not a single parent, I feel like sometimes you can feel like a single parent.
Mhm.
You can speak to that, Kim. We both dealt with the same type of
Yeah.
issue. We were with our children's father. It's not like they really stepped in that place.
No, no.
Like they
Mm.
they did the bare minimum, but they did something.
I mean, for everybody watching on his side, they're probably gonna be like, "Here she goes, here she goes." But yeah, he did the bare minimum, people. Okay, no, I'm kidding, I'm
Here we
kidding.
go, because you've been waiting for it. You're
Here
finally
we
getting
go. But it's true. I always said that. That was always one of my gripes. Like I feel like I'm a single parent in a marriage, and because
Right.
it always falls on the mom. But yeah, here we are.
We have
Here we are.
receipts if y'all really want to debate this.
No,
I
I'm
don't think
kidding.
that.
YOLO. No, it's not. I had to YOLO on our first,
Oh my God.
but
Oh
it's
my
No.
God.
crazy.
So, I mean, I think that is a powerful statement. It is
Yeah,
definitely a journey for the strong because girl, there'd
it
be some
really
days
is.
you're like, Lord, why?
Hmm. Even some of the parenting skills, I mean, like not parenting skills, but like parenting style, like sometimes it makes me cringe, but I'm like, I can't, we watch, but we don't judge.
We
That's me
listen,
sometimes.
but we don't.
We
It's
listen,
the
but we don't judge.
she said we why? Because them eyes of hers be judging.
Always judging. I'm like, I wouldn't do it, but then I'm like, what makes my way better than his? So yeah,
Yes,
gotta
yes.
What's
watch my
crazy
face.
is
Everybody.
a lot of women go through what you both go through, but men go
Hmm.
through it too, right? Where
Yes.
Yeah,
they like
100%.
they're like the main provider. They take care of the
Mm-hmm.
kids. The mom is not
Hmm.
around,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and I'm like, that's a lot for a man
Hmm.
too, that, he's a mom and a dad.
Correct.
Do you feel like that may is harder on them than it would be on mom? Do you look at it differently because it's dad?
I think so.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mom has the more nurturing, they carried the baby for 9 months, so you should have that, right? Well, you want to be with your child, not get up
Mm,
and leave because it's too much on you, right? Because that happens every day. The
Mm-hmm.
dad, he quote unquote the provider. He makes,
right.
the money, he comes home, you know what I mean? He takes care of the kids, but the mom is like, she's
To
the one that
nurture.
is the main person. So it's sad to hear that men go through that, but kudos to the one that like on it every
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Like I
I
seen this
mean, I
guy.
agree. I think it's hard on them too because it's like we don't give them enough credit for what they do know because they do know,
Correct.
you
Mm-hmm.
were raised, you saw what it would look like to be
Right.
raised by
Hmm.
parents. So you have to take those skills and put it in. But to speak to a point where you said, as a mom, you hold this baby for 9 months, it's not always innate. It doesn't always, you deliver a baby and now you feel like a mom and you have that nurturing issue. And that's why we have a lot of issues with like postpartum
Hmm.
depression or the
Yeah, because
postpartum
that plays
blues
a big part.
because
Yeah.
they're like, I held this baby, but I don't
Have a
even feel
connection.
connected to it.
Hmm.
Yep.
So I think that's a whole nother
Hmm.
podcast, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that comes into play too. And you never know, maybe that just continued on and she
Hmm.
left, or who knows what the issues are. But I do give it up to the dads because that is not easy. It's
Same.
not easy
I
for mom
agree.
or dad to be alone.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right, Kim, you want to close the show?
Yeah, so we want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next time. The podcast is on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all our channels. YouTube. We have our social media, which is Calm Before the Storm podcast. If you have any comments, ideas, or topics that you want us to talk about, you can send us a message on our social media or email us at thecalmbefore the storm@gmail.com. That's all I got,
Right.
ladies.
All right,
All
ladies.
right. We see
It
you
was a
next
great show.
time.
See you next time.
See you
Bye.
next
Bye.
time.